Hi, this is Frode, and welcome to ActualizeNotes TV, where I deliver 5 big ideas that we can use to actualize our potential, and I give you some tips on how you can apply the ideas. Today we have an amazing book, Self-Discipline, Spartan Discipline, by Chris Thomson. Self-Discipline, Spartan Discipline. Subtitle, Resist Temptations and Conquer Your Long-Term Goals. Chris Thomson is an author who skillfully entwines the wisdom of the Spartan culture with our modern-day world, and he shows us how we can apply their principles to daily living to help us develop our discipline. The Spartans were a warrior society that enjoyed dominance between the 6th and 4th century BC, and they have a lot to teach us about discipline. So if you want to develop your Spartan discipline and resist temptations and conquer your long-term goals, this is a book you'll love. It's only about 88 pages that you could read in a couple of hours, and I highly enjoyed it. You also learn a lot about the history of Sparta. They're awesome. And I've made it a personal mantra to shout like a maniac, Spartan discipline, every time I do something I'm proud of. And I encourage you to do that also. Now, let's start with the first big idea. And of course, you can put comments below the video if you have any questions. Body, mind, spirit. Chris mentions that the historical view of the Spartans is to many a bit distorted. Many people think they were only a warrior society. But Chris says that they couldn't achieve their success if they were only that, one-dimensionally. No, they were multifaceted in their approach. So their education focused on the development of the body, mind, and spirit. So they could ward off temptations and feelings like fear, money, and the last one was sex. So they're really focused on development of body, mind, and spirit, and not just being warriors. Away from that, they focused a lot on experience over second-hand knowledge. And that's why I often ask you to reflect on the questions I ask or do small exercises. Because if you just understand it, it won't help you. If you actually do it, it will help you actualize your potential. Next big idea, 8 principles. The Spartans had 8 principles that they observed to achieve their success. And those principles were, I'll list them really quickly. Seems like, yes. 5, 6, 7, 8. So the principles were 1. Honor. 2. Know thyself. 3. Nothing in excess. 4. Keep the measure. 5 was loyalty. 6 was love. 7, perseverance, of course. 8 was selflessness, which is the encompassing principle. And by the way, the reason I remembered all of these in a row is because I do something called active recall. I look at the list, look away from it, and try to see all of the words inside my mind. So anyway, the honor, they meant that they didn't see honor as receiving awards for accomplishing something great. No, they saw it as acknowledging another person's worth. They didn't care about positions or titles. For example, a CEO today is just as important as the customer service representative for the company's success. That's their view of honor. Know thyself. It's the most important kind of knowledge, awareness of yourself. Because if you don't know what you want, who you are, or how committed you are to getting what you want, then all other forms of knowledge are at best flawed. 3. Nothing in excess. The Spartans focused a lot on moderation, hence body, mind, spirit. They didn't only focus on one direction. And you can think of it as Aristotle's golden mean. You have the golden mean, and you have too much of something and too little of something. They would not have too much or too little of anything. Keep the measure. And that goes for food, working out only and no learning, or only learning and no working out. Then keep the measure. It's not measuring what you do, but it's the idea that everything in the universe is connected. And if you do something to someone or something, you will experience result from that. You can't do anything without having it affect you. 5. Loyalty. This was really important for the Spartan warriors, because it gave them an anchor and it improved their cohesiveness in battle. They knew that they could trust their fellow mate, and that's made their units much more efficient. 6. Love. This was actually something Spartans used to ward off fear. And they believed that they understood that courage leads to love. And this reminds me of an idea that Russ Harris talks about in The Confidence Gap. He says that the root of the word courage is core, which means heart. And therefore, he says, courage means we do what's in our hearts. And when we do what's in our hearts, we will experience fear. But we do what we need to do anyway. Perseverance is your ability to follow through on your commitments regardless of obstacles, challenges, or perceived failures that we all experience during our days, when you are on your path toward your accomplishments. And at last, selflessness, the encompassing principle. This means that you let go of your egocentric desires and focus on serving to create something or work towards something that's larger than yourself. You don't only exert discipline for yourself, you exert it for other people too. So those were the principles. Check up on how you're doing on each of these, and buy the book to check out more, to get more information. 3. Silence. See, it's a little ink left. Silence. Silence is really a big facet of know thyself. It was under that principle. It means that you use introspection to get to know yourself more and become more aware of yourself. And Chris says that this is a challenge, because in today's society we don't encourage introspection. We have all of these distractions, like 24-hour media cycles, electronic devices that ping off all the time, and video games and other distractions. He mentions that anytime we engage in behavior that prevents us from taking a close inspection of our thoughts, emotions, and feelings, we create further distance from knowing ourselves. And that's why I make such an effort to spend less time on the internet and watching TV and playing video games and all of those distractions, and more time on reading and getting to know myself more, and reflecting on how I can improve myself as a person. And I also encourage you to do that. Try to spend less time with distractions and more time pursuing self-knowledge and personal development. Number 1, to practice silence. That's meditation. Because Chris says that silence helps us avoid getting caught up in our outer world and become more aware of our inner world. And that's exactly what meditation allows you to do. 4th big idea, endowment. Endowment is really an effect that comes as a result of legacy and ownership. The Spartan children were brought up having a sense of legacy, that the highest priority for them was their state. Highest priority is their legacy. Other word for legacy. And their legacy was protecting their state of Sparta, which helped them be so fearless in battle and do everything they could to protect their state. Ownership. They had such ownership in battle that they knew that all of their actions would affect all of their fellow soldiers. And therefore, they took ownership. Well, how we can use this? We can use this to know that when your sense of ownership reaches such a level that it becomes ingrained with your identity, your ownership of a goal, that is. It becomes ingrained with your identity, who you are. You tap into the endowment effect, just that. When you ingrain your identity to your goal. And the way we can use this is to first create a legacy. What do we want to achieve during our lives? 1, 5, 10, 25, 50 years from now. And then see how we can take ownership to make that legacy real. The way I do this is I every single morning journal my 1, 5, 10, 25 and 50 year goals. Then I connect it to today's reality. What's the number one task I need today to make that future real? Then I write down my 3 identities I need to achieve it. I need to be a world-class athlete in terms of the energy I need. I need to be a Spartan warrior in terms of the discipline I need to do what I need to do. And I need to be an inspiring and empowering teacher, entrepreneur and leader in terms of service. And those are ideals. Those may not be reality right now, but those are things I'm stretching toward. And it helps me tap into the endowment effect. So are you writing down your goals every single day? Or at least reviewing them? If not, how do you think you're going to ingrain them to your sense of identity, the person you need to be to achieve them? P.S. Did you know that people who write down their goals every day, or at least consistently, have 9 times bigger chances of accomplishing them? That's 900%. Think about that. And write down your goals. 5th big idea, pain and pleasure. Chris poses a funny question. He asks, why is it that Spartan warriors would rush toward the enemy, while some of us avoid taking out the trash, getting in shape, or following through on our New Year's resolutions? And he answers that by saying that the Spartan lifestyle was very effective in warding off procrastination, manipulating the forces of pain and pleasure. And the way we can use that is to become aware of our consequences from not following through on our commitments, and our benefits from following through on our commitments. And what is that for you? Well, you can do an exercise that I want you to do right now, and don't procrastinate until tomorrow. It contains 3 steps. So you can find out a sheet of paper or just write on your computer. Number 1, write down your most important goal that you have today. 2, write down all of the consequences you have experienced in the past and you will continue to experience in the future if you keep procrastinating. 3, write down all the benefits that you will experience if you stay disciplined and follow through on your commitments. And then we have a little 4th step. It's to review that list every morning and every night and allow yourself to experience the emotions, to tap into the power of pain and pleasure that we are so driven by. And do that for 3 weeks. You will notice that you will become much more aware of why you're doing what you do and why you don't want to procrastinate. So it's a really effective technique. And of course, it's important to know that we will face challenges. But as the Greek historian Plutarch said, the Spartans do not ask how many are the enemy, but where are they? Just as they expected enemies, we need to expect resistance and temptations and use our Spartan discipline to ward them off. That was pain and pleasure, endowment. Connect your legacy for the future to who you need to be today and take ownership to tap into the endowment effect. Silence. Meditate and turn off all distractions more of the time if you want to get to know yourself more. 8 principles. I checked up on these. And body, mind, spirit. Spartans were not one-dimensional, they were multifaceted, which helped them achieve their success, their dominance. That was a quick look at self-discipline, Spartan discipline. Thank you, Chris Thomson. What is the one idea that jumped out at you? And how can you make it a part of you starting today? Get on that. I hope you enjoyed and that you continue to actualize your potential so we can create a force for good together. Thanks for watching. Have another awesome day. See ya.